Happy Valentine's Day, ladies and gentlemen. The day is finally here, the day where we spoil and we get to spoil, the day where we have those conversations about love. So whether or not you've got a partner, we still wish you a happy Valentine's Day. But today's show is centered around couples, people who have been together for different periods of times. But before we get into that conversation, if you're one of those last minute people who did not buy a gift for their loved ones, it's okay, don't worry, my Dawa have got you. You can go on there and buy something like perfume, something nice for your partner, and have it delivered to your office, to your home, and it'll be a sweet surprise. The delivery is free within Nairobi, by the way, and they even deliver outside the outskirts. So there's still hope. Go on there, get yourself perfume for your loved one as well. For yourself, spoil yourself too. And remember to use the discount code S15 because you get 15% off at the checkout. And check them out on their website, www.mydawa.com, or you can download the app on Google Play. Now, today's show, man, do we have a really cool show lined up for you. We speak to 3 different couples. The first are newlyweds and sort of in their honeymoon phase. The second have just gotten a baby, so they're in a different space in their life, and they've been married for about 5 years now. And the last couple have been married for, get this, 44 years. So we're in for a really good conversation. So let's dive in. So my first guests, Jimmy and Soila Curtis, they've been married 2 years, and when I asked, so do you have children? They're like, no, we're each other's children. Baby is what they call each other. So their pet names for each other we know is baby. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good.
Yeah? We saw each other 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Jimmy was on the show for his art, but what you guys didn't see was that Soila was right there, supporting, showcasing, like, put this here and there. Aw, you guys are so cute. Given that it's Valentine's Day, what are you guys doing? What do you have planned?
I don't think I'd planned for anything.
Okay, look, and by the way, here, I'm also asking you the question.
Yeah.
Not even honest. I like how, what are we doing for Valentine's?
I like,
But what are you doing for Valentine's, Soila?
I'll make you nice meals, that's all. I'll just make you breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right.
Probably that's my plan, yeah.
Okay, and that's good too. That's good too. So let's get an understanding of how you guys met. So tell me about that story.
We normally have different stories.
There are 2 versions.
Okay.
Mine is more accurate.
Which is a lie.
Hers is a bit edited.
Okay.
To suit her.
Okay. Let's have like the condensed version, whichever one's the quicker one. Whose story?
Version.
Yeah.
And the real one.
Okay, start.
We met in Daystar.
Okay.
I just joined university, my second semester, and he was about to leave.
Yeah.
So Curtis noticed me at an event. He decided to come to me, say hi. I can see, because I remember I was there with my friend. Then she went to the VIP area. There was a concert. International artists had come over. So he decided, since I was alone with other students from other universities, it's like, I think she's the only Daystar student there, so we should go get her. He came, got me, talked to me, and I'm like, okay, da 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 da. Then we left each other, and then I think we exchanged numbers. Then he now texting me, and that was it.
Okay.
Yeah, what she's not mentioned is that before that day, she had noticed me like a month before.
Okay.
Okay, that's
So
true,
she
I
had,
agree.
she had just been eyeing me, but as ladies say, they'd rather go to the grave with that secret.
Yeah, okay. So you knew there was like some kind of interest.
She knew. For me, I noticed her on that concert.
Okay.
Day. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I see. But her, she had been ogling, dreaming
She had been
about
scheming.
you. God, I'm with you. I'm with you, Jimmy. So tell me, what have you guys learned and understood about love, given that you've been married 2 years, that's different from what you thought love was before marriage?
Wow.
For me, I've discovered, before we got married, love was, it's painted like this thing where you'll always enjoy it, But I've come to realize that love is more about doing what is right rather than doing what you like. Because there are times you won't like what you have to do, but you have to do it. It's like there are sometimes you don't always like waking up to go work early in the morning, but you know the consequences if you don't do that. So sometimes love has the same feel most of the time.
And what about you, Soila?
It's a sacrifice. It's a selfless place and I can't give to him what I don't have. If I haven't loved myself, there's no way I'm going to supply the same to him. So I have to learn to love myself first and then supply to him. And there are times that he's annoyed me, I don't want to love him. I mean, it's not about feelings. Today I can feel like not loving him, but literally he's my husband. I have to give of myself to him and learn to love him. Yeah, I think for me it's a sacrifice area.
Okay. What are some of the key pillars that you feel have helped you navigate the first 2 years? Because people say different things about the first 2 years.
Yeah.
It's either the beautiful 2 years or it's the one where it's like,
Really
if you
tough.
hadn't sorted certain things out. So like, what are the key things you've learned in the last 2 years?
For me, I think you have to have the non-negotiables.
Okay.
For example, if you have a misunderstanding, you have to agree that, for example, you never walk out of an argument.
Okay.
Or you never raise your voice. There are those things that you have to agree, this one we never cross. And then for me, what I've really come to understand, which has really been helpful, is learn to separate the issue from the person. For example, if she speaks to me in a way that I don't like, I don't go to her and say, you are a very mean person, you are very disrespectful. I go to her and say, that thing you said was mean. So now I've separated her from the action. So now as we are dealing with the action is isolated, so we are both dealing with it as an isolated case.
Does that actually work when you're arguing? Like, I love that advice. I love it, and I think you're 100% right. But in that moment, when your emotions, your feelings, your ego has been bruised,
it's taken time to get there. It wasn't always like that. So for us, it has to be that thing you always have to, remind yourself, okay, calm down, deal with this practically. So it wasn't always there. It's something we've had to learn.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you, Soila?
Yeah. Communications. For me, it's communication in the sense of I have learned, if he's hurt me, I've learned to say, I didn't like the way you did this. I didn't like the way you communicated to me. Unlike just me keeping it to myself. He'll bruise me and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to keep quiet. I'm not going to talk up to you. So I have learned to say what is in my heart and like just keeping it. Because keeping it, the next time we argue, I'll go fishing. The last time you did this to me, So it's a matter of just learning to communicate at that particular point what has happened, or saying what is in your mind or what's in your heart. Yes.
When you're in a marriage or relationship, you get to know and learn the other person, and you end up focusing a lot on that and like peeling the layers. But I'm curious to know, what have you learned about yourselves in seeing yourself in that relationship and in someone else's eyes? What have you learned?
What I've learned about myself. I've learned some really good things, but I don't know why. Learning good things are usually very rare. Most of the time you learn things about yourself that you need to work on, things that need to be sorted out. And for me, I think one of the things that I really learned that wasn't very pleasing is that I tend to jump a lot into conclusions. She'll do something, okay, I won't vocalize it, but in my mind I've played out so many scenarios. So I think what has helped me is that I always come to a place of recognizing that, okay, this is just your mind. Go speak to her and you might realize that whatever you are thinking is completely not the case. So I've come to that place of don't be so quick to judge. That's one of the things that I learned about myself that I wasn't really happy to learn, but it just sort of happened.
And ultimately, I think when you're on the other end of it, when you're on the other side, aren't you even the better for it and the happier for it? For understanding, accepting, and forgiving yourself for that, and then just making it better. And what about you, Soila?
For me, I have learned to deal with the issue there and then. I used to actually withdraw and walk away and not mention anything about it. But I've learned to communicate at that particular moment and listen to him. Oh my God, I can just... I think I shout a lot, throw my hands a lot. I've learned to hold myself together and actually listen to what he has to say. Something else the nice things that I've learned about myself is that I'm very patient. I'm very patient. I have learned to give him space and show him grace when he has wronged me. I have learned to extend grace in such moments that are not as pleasant. Yes.
That's actually so beautiful, first of all, so beautiful. But what are some of the tools or the resources that have helped you? Because you both seem so grounded and sure of yourselves and of the relationship that you have. So what are those things that you go back to whenever you need to go back to the source, or to refill the cup, or to find clarity in your marriage?
Me, I've realized it's always good to have a reference point and acknowledge that you are not the master of this thing. You are not the master of love. You don't have everything figured out. So what has worked for me is that I've been privileged to be surrounded by very sober men who have gone ahead of me. So I look at how they would handle such a scenario. I look at how they handle their wives, how they handle, you know, such moments that are really hard. And you know, the problem with men is that we don't talk. You know, men just hold things to themselves because you are a man, you know, keep it to yourself. But I've come to learn that it's good for men to talk. So I have friends who I can easily talk to. And I've often realized that whatever issue I think I'm going through myself, they went through it.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes even more than I have.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always good to always go out, talk to people and realize that it's not only me who has experienced that and that there are people who have gone ahead and they've figured out how to sort that issue out. So for me, always acknowledge that you are not the only one who has to figure this thing out on your own. Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
For me, it's same thing. I'll agree with him. Accountability partners, people who've been there before you. Even counseling. I mean, whoever you trust. When you're not agreeing on a particular issue, when you're not coming to an understanding, then let's go to somebody who's been there before, or someone who has an understanding of marriage or how to solve a particular problem, so that we don't strain ourselves in trying to find a solution, and then we end up hurting each other.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
So accountability partners and having somebody who's gone before you.
Some kind of mentorship.
Yeah, some kind of
maybe.
mentorship. Yes.
That's the one.
That's it.
Yeah.
When it comes to your union specifically, what is it that because I think these are the questions we think when we're in business or when we're thinking about where do we want our children to go. But what is it that you wish and you want to see for your relationship?
I like the idea of growing old.
Together.
Yeah, with her. Like we're really old and we look back at our lives and we are like, we were really stupid at this point, you know?
Do you actually, right now, do you have moments where you're like, wow, at 3 months into this relationship, if we only knew.
Yes, yes.
The things we think about and we're like, wow, we thought we were really smart. But that was so immature. You know,
now imagine people 20 years into their relationship, 14 years into their relationship.
I would really love us to be friends when we are old.
I'd agree with
I would
him.
love that. Because I see old couples today, probably definitely people not of our generation. And some of the relationship is very mechanical, you know?
Right.
It's like they got together to raise kids and now the kids have grown and they've gone out. So there's no relationship left. Right. It's like their agreement was we are here to raise these kids.
Yeah.
But I would want us to be, even after the kids are gone, I would want that whatever we have is still organic. Right. We still have something even when the kids are no longer there.
And what would that look like? Being friends, what does that look like for you?
A lot of sincerity, a lot of vulnerability, no shame.
And honesty.
No shame.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that what we want for every genuine, solid relationship in our lives, whether it's with our children, our partners?
Yes,
Oh, beautiful.
I'd agree.
And what about you? What's
Wow.
where do you see yourself?
Can I just speak everything you
Yeah,
said?
yes. In fact, that shows you have an aligned vision.
alignment, you know?
shared. You're both headed to the same space. That's actually
I totally agree with him. The vulnerability aspect. I mean, even before the children who were here with you, you know?
Yeah.
So they would come, and now our focus changes from our relationship and our love to focus on the children. No. They'll come, they'll grow, they'll leave us. And then we'll be left with each other. I'd want to grow that relationship, that our foundation will be so grounded. I mean, even if we can die together, it will be awesome. I wouldn't want you to leave me, and I wouldn't
like together in your sleep, and it's like, oh.
Like God now take us.
Yeah, in like when you're 102.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that beautiful? My last question to you would be, what have you learned about love? I earlier when I asked, it was around like marriage and like how it's transformed, but what is love to you?
Love to me lately has taken a very practical approach. And in the sense of you cannot reap what you didn't sow. You want love, give it, you know. And of course, there are cases where one person is giving love, but they're not getting it back. There are those ones. But I'm talking about a scenario where every factor is constant. You want something, give it. You want to be served, be the one to go and serve. You want to forgive, forgive first. So it starts with me. It's not from a place of I want, receive. It's from a place whereby instead of wanting so much to be loved, which is okay, why can't I go ahead and be the one to give it in the first place? Because there's a fulfillment you get by being the giver. It's not always receiving.
Gorgeous.
Stolen the script.
You have.
But I'm sure there's something in there, something that
Yes,
you've understood and
yeah.
discovered about love.
Again, I'd say selflessness. What marriage has taught me, or what, because definitely marriage is around love. I'll have to remove myself from that. First, meet his needs. First meet his needs. If he's unwell, what can I do for him? How can I help him? If he's hungry, I'll feed him first. Before even for him, see expectations. Before him being able to meet my needs. As in, it's a place of you step out of where you were, meet his needs, love him first, and then he can be able to reciprocate the same on your side. And just me sitting down expecting so much from him, yet I haven't given of myself to him. Yes.
And I know we are talking like it's automatic.
Yeah.
It's not natural.
Actually,
It's not.
The first two, I mean, now that you're like 2.5 years into your marriage, how would you define it? Has it been like honeymoon stage? Has it been like learning and drama stage?
I think when we talk about honeymoon, we assume there are no issues.
Yeah. But
yes.
Yeah.
But
I mean, honeymoon has its ups and downs,
Yes,
but you'd
it
say
has,
for the most part it's been like,
It's all
Yes.
baby.
I love that. Okay.
So it's not natural to just love selflessly, but you have to be deliberate about it. You can't wait to feel it so that you do it.
Did you do it? Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Jimmy and Soila, thank you so much. Y'all are
thank
so
you.
cute, and you're like
Thank you.
baby. I can't wait.
Hi.
Like 10 years later, when you're like 12 and a half years into
yeah.
it, 10 years, well, I'll come catch and be like, now,
Yeah.
how's it been? What did you learn? What was thrown into the mix that just you guys weren't prepared for? But this has been lovely. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
We have to take a break. When we come back, we'll be with a different couple in a different space in their lives. So don't go anywhere.